Hello everyone, this is Gage from Gondor Smith, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a historical siege of Minas Tirith. That's right, it is a 3 versus 2 siege of the White City. And this one, before I actually get into the actual replay or anything, first off, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we actually have over 100 subscribers now. At the time of the recording this video, we have 112. And now first, I'm definitely going to thank the Lord. I couldn't do without him. And then now I'm gonna thank you guys because I couldn't do it without you either. And I just really am blown away by the fact that over 100 of you actually thought I was worth subscribing to and still continue to watch, like, and comment on my videos. So yeah, I really am grateful. I really am grateful for that. So anyway, we will now get into the army compositions. The three attacking armies are being commanded by Dylan R97, who's commanding Mordor. I believe, yeah, Sam Ship 14, who's commanding another army of Mordor, and Long Barrel 76, who's commanding the army of Harad. Now there were a few rules, but I'll get to those rules once I'm done, like giving the historical background of this battle, which I'm sure most of you already know by now. So, this battle took place in the year 3019 in the Third Age of during the War of the Ring. And yeah, and it took place probably it took like a couple days or something. It was like started March 14th, like 13th, 14th, which is actually kind of ironic because March 14th happens to be my birthday. So, and Gondor has always been my favorite faction, and the Siege of Minas Tirith was always my favorite part in the movies. So it is it's always cool whenever I get to play this map. This is actually probably one of the first times I've played on this map though. You can actually see some of my troops already firing their arrows. But yeah, so we will, and then yeah, so I was commanding one army of Gondor, who defending obviously, and the other army was being commanded by Dark Elven King, who is commanding another army of Gondor. And so we will first get straight off into the army compositions of a Dylan R97. But before I do that, very quickly, um, I would like to say there are no Rohirrim coming. This is more like since it took 2 days, we thought, well, maybe there was like, like kind of like a first assault and then they sieged with the rest, and that's when came. Because if you guys remember, the assault upon Gondor had already been happening when Rohan had come. There were already orcs inside and fighting against the men of Gondor in there. Also, there are no ghosts, so yeah, that's not gonna happen either. But yeah, it was still a very fun battle. It was just absolutely epic. It was super crazy. So we will now get into the army compositions. The first army being commanded by Dilar 97. So I'm pretty sure I've said it like 3 times now. He has 1 unit of mounted Numenorean shield guard, 1 catapult, 3 units of Uruk archers, 2 units of Uruks. I believe he has, what is it, 5 units of Mordor Mornon Uruks. A little bit better than the normal Uruks, but they also cost a little bit more. He has 3 of them right here, 2 of them over there, 3 units of Mordor Mornon halberds, and 2 units of Sauron's Will, commanding the other two siege towers. He also has 2 units of Olaghai. The only rules were 4 archers max, two trolls max, no Balrog or Witchers, but if the Harad player wanted to do so, they were allowed to bring Mumakil, which is why he has them. But if he was to bring Mumakil, he could only bring 3 other elite units to the field. So, like, like 2 units of Trollmen, maybe like Demons of the Desert type thing. So yeah, we will get into his army composition a little bit later. Unfortunately, I don't believe that. I believe that some of the Mordor players thought that they also had that 3 limit elite unit rule, even though they really didn't, which kind of explains some of their army compositions. But I'm sure they gave their units lots of experience and armor upgrades and such. So the other army being commanded by Sam Ship 14 has 3 units of Mordor Mornon halberds, 2 units of Olaghai, 1 unit of mounted Numenorean shield guard, 1 unit, 1 catapult, and 1 unit of Sauron's Will, 1 unit of Mortal Chosen, 1 unit of Uruk archers, 2 units of Mordor Mornon bows, 2 units, no, yeah, 2 units of Uruk halberds, 2 units of Mornon heavy maulers, and a shock infantry unit that can deal out a lot of damage, but obviously they're very susceptible to arrow fire. And then he has 3 units of Uruks to round off his force. So very formidable Mordor forces right there. Uh, the money was very high for both teams. Obviously, the attackers got more. So yeah. Anyway, so the last army is commanded by Longbarrel 76. He has 3 units of Haradrim archers, low tier archer unit, but they can get the job done. They can deal out some pretty nice damage for a low tier archer unit. He has 2 units of Muhad berserkers, one back here, one over here. He has 3 units of Muhad beast tamers, which are a very nice almost pike halberd mix unit. They can deal out very heavy damage to heavily armored units, but they're obviously their main weakness because they're so lightly armored is missile fire. And then he has 2 units of Dismounted Serpent Guard, 2 units of Trollmen of Harad, who are very fearsome. I wish I could have seen how many kills they got because I'm sure they got a lot. They were causing a lot of trouble in our defenses. Then he has 3 units of Southron Warband, 3 units of Southron Pikemen, and I believe that's it besides his Mumakil, which is where his general is. Also, I could not actually find Dylan R97. Yeah, that's his name, right? Dylan R97. Yeah, I could not find where his general actually was. It's not in the Mounted Numer and Shield Guard, but the general for the other Mordor player was in 1 unit of Nazgul, which he has somewhere over here. I don't know exactly where they are, but yeah, here they are. I believe this is where his general is because yeah, okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Sorry, I'm pretty sure that's where it is. Anyway, so now we'll go over the defending army compositions, starting with my own. But because it's so kind of like compact inside of the city, I'm just gonna read off the army compositions for you guys, and then uh, yeah, I'll show you where the actual units are later, like as the battle actually goes. So I have 1 unit of the Sons of Argonath, which is where my general is. 1 unit of Gondorian Winged Swordsmen. 2 units of Fountain Guard. 2 units of Shielded Fountain Guard. 1 unit of Wardens of the White Tower. 2 units of Pelargir Marines. 2 units of Veterans of Esgilith, who are a very nice archer unit. I gave them both of their armor upgrades. They have 2 HP, 9 missile damage, not the best, but they can definitely hold their own in melee. They're absolutely, probably one of the best archers in melee, unless you're counting like Elder Royal Counselor or something. I also have 1 unit of Wardens of Minas Ithil right here. 1 unit of Gondor Citadel Archers, 3 units of Guards of Osgiliath, 1 catapult, 2 units of Losternock Nobles, a very nice shock infantry unit, which is very needed whenever you're playing as Gondor because they do not have very much AP, and it is one of their only AP melee units in the current game. They're right here, they look very nice. I always liked how they looked. Really like how they have different colored poles on their long axes. And then I also have 1 unit of Citadel Bodyguard. Now, my ally, who's also commanding the army of who's also commanding an army of Gondor, has 1 unit of Citadel Bodyguard, which is where his general is. 1 unit of normal Citadel Guard, 2 units of Shielded Fountain Guard, 2 units of Guards of Osgiliath, 2 units of Losternock Nobles, uh, 2 units of Pelargir Marines, 2 units of Veterans of Osgiliath, 1 unit of Wardens of Minas Ithil, 1 unit of Gondor Citadel Archers, 1 unit of Gondorian Winged Swordsmen, 1 unit of Wardens of the White Tower, 1 unit of Sons of Argonath, and 2 units of Fountain Guard, as well as 1 trebuchet to run off his force. Now, wow, that was a mouthful. But you can see most of our troops are right here in the middle. We have quite a few on the walls, both pieces of artillery right here. Also, Dark Elven King had the very good idea of putting a large amount of his forces up here as a last-ditch effort to kind of hold back the forces of evil because this is where his bodyguard is, where you can see his general. He has 2 units of, he has both of his Lost Nobles units up here, as well as Wardens of the White Tower. And then down a little ways, he actually has, oh, I'm sorry about that. It's a little hard to navigate, actually, in this settlement. Yeah, and then he also has his Pelargir Marines, 1 unit of Veterans of Osgiliath, as well as 1 Guards of Osgiliath right here on this middle level. Because this is obviously a very easy place to defend, so if you can, you might as well put a lot of troops there. So without further ado, we will start off this battle. My bad. So to start off with, you can obviously expect lots of archer volleys, but because of the siege towers, they will not be able to do that much damage. You can see a couple arrows hitting these Saurons will, but because of their multiple HP, they won't be able to do that much. Dark Elven King is also targeting these Olakai, which is a good idea because they are very deadly in the melee fight. He's targeting them with fire arrows, which is not a bad idea because they are very much better than they used to be in the old game. You can see quite a few of Halberds and Mornon Uruks going down to those fire arrows. Over here, he's also moving forward these Mordor Mornon Uruks. And so I will move forward my Losternock nobles, both of them onto the walls, as well as both my units of Shielded Fountain Guard. You can see all my archers right here. Yeah, I was basically just putting all of my units down here because I wasn't sure if he was going to instantaneously target the walls with his catapult, which would not necessarily be a bad idea. So I definitely put my more expensive units down on the ground because I would definitely not have enough time, as you see right here, to put units up before the siege towers got here. But yeah, this was an absolutely epic battle. It was super fun to play. It's not the longest Minas Tirith siege battle, but it was still very fun. Over here you can see Long Barrel 76 moving forward his Beast Tamers and Southern Pikemen. They're in loose formation, so I'm not going to fire at them. Also, they're a very cheap unit, so I don't want to waste my ammo on them. I am more trying to target where are they? Dismounted Serpent Guard, as well as especially these Trollmen of Harad, because they are very, very deadly in melee. Yes, and there goes the gates. I think I'm going to actually bring that down a little bit. He's kind of talking a little bit loud for my liking. And over here, you can see the two siege towers of DLR 97 are about at the walls. But I have Shielded Fountain Guard over here, as well as some Lost or Knock nobles to fend them off. Over here, you can see a very, very nice defense being set up here. We have lots of Fountain Guard, as well as pikes, as well as Peligre Marines in the background, because this is definitely where the most what do you say, enemy forces are going to be targeting, just because of the fact that it's the biggest hole to enter.
The enemy's ram is through our gates.
Okay, and you can see over here these Saurons that were manning the siege tower have gotten onto the walls. They actually surprisingly were able to get their entire unit on the walls without taking very many casualties before that happened. However, these Shielded Fountain Guard will be able to hold them off for a very long time. And you can see Dark Elven King bringing up a unit of Fountain Guard he will bring them up here to help fight against these Sauron's Will. Over here you can see the other unit of Sauron's Will pushing their tower forward as well. Also, Dylan R97 has noticed that his Olog are being targeted, so he has run them far away. And at the same time, he has targeted the Wards of Minas Ithil with his own archers, which is not a bad idea. As you can see, they are fairly lightly armored, even though they do have hit points, so they will take quite a few casualties. Over here, though, you can see the Mordor Mornon Uruks piling onto the walls, but they will just go straight into the axes of my Losternock nobles, who will be able to absolutely cut down these Mordor Mornon Uruks. As you can see, they are dropping very, very quickly already. Especially as I'm bringing over my other unit of Losternock nobles, they will go down very soon. Over here, however, you can see that the Mordor Mornon Uruks on this side are also dying quite quickly, but not as quickly because these are, after all, a spearman unit to the Shield Fountain Guard. And this was a very, very good tactic. I'm going to pause this just for a second. Because this was a very, very nice tactic that I'd actually never seen used before by any player on this game. He put forward every single one of his siege towers on different locations, which forced me to spread out my defenses very thin. And even though he didn't use all of them, I was pretty much forced to leave troops there. Otherwise, he could just run over another unit of troops just straight onto the wall without any hindrance, and would be able to surround my forces on the walls. So it was a very, very good idea. And I also had to very quickly run off my veterans of Escalation and Gondor Citadel archers, as well as my wards of Minas Ithil, because I definitely did not want them to fight in melee. Over here, however, you can see my Gondor Wing Swordsmen are beginning to fight against the Dismounted Serpent Guard, and you will see these Dismounted Serpent Guard begin to drop very, very quickly, because even though the Gondor Wing Swordsmen are very low in numbers, they are essentially Gondor's version of Sindar Blade Masters. Even though you can't get two of them like you can the Sindar Blade Masters, uh, the Gondorian Wing Swordsmen have 42 attack and 42 defense, just like the Sindar Blade Masters. Not exactly sure what their charge is, but I'm sure it's around the same. This unit of wow, just a second ago this unit was at 101. Now it's all the way down. It's already down to 68. I mean, what the heck? The Gondorian Wing Swordsmen are absolutely cutting down those poor Serpent Guard. So yeah, I'm just bringing more troops over to stop Harad from entering. My Sons of Argonath are here, as well as my other unit of pikes. And over here, you can see, yeah, my Shield Fountain Guard are slowly but surely taking out these Mordor Uruks, but over here the Uruks have just been absolutely cut down by my Losternock nobles. Over here, however, you can see that the fight at the gate has begun in full force. My guards of Osgiliath, unfortunately, were not in guard mode, which meant that they kind of charged forward, which would mean they were taking more casualties than I definitely would have liked. I did not catch that, unfortunately, until it was pretty much too late. However, because we have such a healthy force over here, both me and Dark Elven King, we should be able to hold against this horde of orcs. Oh my goodness, look at all those halberds, for quite some time. I think we can just watch a little bit of fighting here for a little bit. You can even see up here on the wall, the Sauron's Will are still fighting against the Shield and Fountain Guard, who are beginning to take casualties quite quickly. Yeah, see, they're already down to only 48. You can see a huge push right here of the Mornon Maulers who are going to go up and try to take on the Shield Fountain Guard. Uh, oh my goodness, yep, okay, so, Dylan R97 has begun to target the walls with his catapult, which is not a bad idea. But over here, yeah, it looks like the last of the Saurons will, no, he pulled them out. I was wondering if they had all died, but no, he just pulled them out. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I can't speak. Words are so hard. Dark Elven King has brought up a unit of Fountain Guard to kind of help fight against these Sauron's Will, who are now going to both units push up the same way, which is not a bad idea. Over here, though, you can see on this side particularly, our defenses are being very thin. That was due to my mistake of not putting my units in guard mode. So I am going to start firing my Pillar Gear Marines javelins straight into this huge blob. And Citadel Guard are these Citadel Guard are being moved over here because Dark Elven King knows that this wall will go down very quickly. And you can see that there are already units being deployed that will be quite ready as soon as the wall falls to run straight into the city. Yeah, so since I noticed this, I believe it was probably a micro mistake not to take advantage of this gaping hole in our defense right here. They probably should have just tried to run around, but essentially it is too late now because I have brought forward both my units of Lost Nobles, who will be able to not only be able to hold the line well, but will also be able to will also be able to deal a great deal of damage to those troops there. Up here, however, Harad has used their Mordor allies siege tower to get this unit of Trollmen of Harad up on the wall, and they will essentially butcher my shielded Fountain Guard slowly, but they will definitely do it in time. Over here, however, things are looking quite grim for us. Unfortunately, my Gondorian Wing Swordsman, I tried to sandwich the units right here because I really wanted to deal with these Trollmen right here, but essentially what ended up happening is only half of the unit went over there, and the other half got stuck off by this unit of Muhad Berserkers that was brought up by Longbarrel 76. So essentially what's going to happen is they will get a lot of kills, especially against these Muhad Berserkers, but they will be cut down because there are just too few numbers. And the ones over here will be cut down by the Trollmen of Harad. So a very, very smart play by Longbarrel 76 right there. You can see quite a few casualties have been taken, not too many though by the archers. My own archers are right here. I'm trying to make them fire straight up into these Muhad Berserkers and Trollmen, especially the Trollmen, because I really, really don't like them. They're very, very deadly in the fight. I also brought this unit of Veterans of Escalation over here to kind of support these Losternock nobles. And over here, you can see the wall's almost down, and the Maulers are in full fight against the Shielded Fountain Guard, as well as the Sauron's Will, who are pushing very, very hard against these poor Shielded Fountain Guard. Uh, yeah, okay, yeah, and here comes, that looks like two units of Olokai actually, but the Fountain Guard are here waiting for them. I was actually very surprised on what happened to those trolls. I'll just let you watch. I don't know how that happened. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. You can see those huge amounts of Mordor Mornon Maulers jumping off of the rams and going to fight against the Shield Found Guard. And that was actually very cool looking. Gondor was instantaneously ready for that wall to fall. As soon as it fell, they fired a couple shots of their trebuchet, getting a nice hit right here. You can see on these Uruks. But Mordor will now push very, very hard right here. You can see just a whole bunch of troops going straight here. This Citadel Guard unit and Shield Wall will do their best to hold against the tide long enough for more reinforcements to arrive. Over here, however, things are looking very well for us. As you can see, the Mordor horde has very, very much so thinned, and we are actually beginning to push them back outside of the gate. Over here, you can see my Shielded Fountain Guard are still dying very quickly to these Trollmen of Harad, who are not taking very many casualties, so I brought over these Pelargir Marines to throw javelins right into their sides from below. I also have left this other unit of Losternock Nobles, who are now going to have to fight against these Uruks, but I've left them up here to fight against the Trollmen of Harad. However, because of these Uruks, I will be forced to turn them around and just hope these Shielded Fountain Guard will be able to hold on for long enough. And yeah, so see, this is what I was talking about. I'll pause it here because things are happening. This is what I was talking about was being smart. I can't move these guards of Osgiliath because he has so many units left over. If I was to pull these guards of Osgiliath or Wardens of the White Tower over here to help the fight on this side, then he would very easily be able to bring some forward his Southern Pikemen or Muhad Beast Tamers just around and flank us and just essentially surround us, or even go all the way down and then flank around these defenders at the gate. So I was essentially forced to keep those units in place, not fighting and not helping in any way, essentially. But as you can see over here on the main fight of the wall over against Harad, things are starting to look better. Gondorian Winged Swordsmen down to about 18 now. They have killed pretty much all the Muhad Beast Tamer Berserkers right here. But over here, and over here actually, I should say, not but, the Trollmen of Harad are down all the way to 17, which is very good for me because that is definitely, besides the Mumakil anyway, that is definitely Harad's most deadly unit. And so he does notice that things are starting to look grim, so he is going to put forward full 2 units of Southron, or no, 1 unit of Southron Warband, 1 unit of Southron Pikemen up the siege tower, who will absolutely just surround and essentially stun lock to death these poor 17 Gondorian winged swordsmen who are still bravely holding their ground. Look, you can see how many, how many enemies that they have killed. They have definitely paid for themselves. Over here, however, the Trollmen of Rot are still, like I said before, very slow, or very easily cutting down the shielded Fountain Guard and not taking too many losses at all. Mostly their losses have probably been from the Pelargir Marines. And over here, even though the Uruks have gotten fully onto the wall, they are getting cut down very easily. You can see the Losternock Axemen are definitely Gondor's number 1 quick. I don't know how you could say that. Like they're just the quickest at killing out of all Gondor's troops. Besides maybe the Sons of Argonath or Gondorian Winged Swordsmen, but both of those also do not have AP. So things are, yeah, like I said before, things are looking pretty good for us right here. They are starting to squeak out a little bit on this side, but for the most part, we are handling things very easily in the main gate. But over here, yes, look at this. Okay, so I brought forward my other unit of Gondor Citadel archers. I'm sorry if I'm talking too fast. I'm excited. Uh, because over here things are not looking well for us. You can see they have just absolutely just run through these poor Citadel guard as well as the wardens of Minas Ithil. And so both mine and Dark Elven King's Gondor Citadel archers are here to try to stem the tide of these orc hordes. And up here, things on the wall are not looking well for us either. These shielded fountain guard will fall to these Mornon heavy maulers. Same here. But however, look at this. Yes, the trolls have been absolutely butchered by the fountain guard. I did not expect that to happen, but yes, the fountain guard absolutely just butchered both units of trolls right there. I was pleasantly surprised by that. But you can now see some Nazgul going to fight up against these fountain guard, who actually will do much better than the trolls, even though they are just going to be getting stun locked, as you can see right here. And you can see over here, there are 2 units of trolls now fighting against the Pelargir Marines and Citadel Archers. Also, these Morgul Chosen, actually, I'll explain what happened. They ran up here and just ran down, and rather than attacking these people at the gate, where it was probably more needed, they decided to go around and attack the trebuchet and catapult crews. My catapult crew, I was trying to get them to fire, but it just didn't really work out that well. So Dark Elven King does notice this, and he is going to be bringing forward his Sons of Argonath, who will be able to do very well against pretty much anything that the Hordes of Mordor can bring. However, since they are low in numbers, they will need to be supported, which is why I am bringing forward my Citadel Archers. They look somewhat similar, but trust me, one is very much superior to the other in terms of melee fighting. So you can see this is definitely our biggest point of concern. Sam Ship 14's Mordor Moron bow is taking some good shots off at the sides of these Sons of Argonath, trying to shave off a couple of those hit points. And over here, you can see the Nazgul are still at 6, but they are very bloodied now. And the Fountain Guard, I don't believe, have taken a single casualty. And over here, oh, I take it back. The Nazgul just took their casualty. The general just got killed by the Fountain Guard. So good job, Dark Elven King's Fountain Guard. And over here, the Uruks are continuing to be butchered by the Losternock nobles. But the shielded Fountain Guard, this is the last one of, and he's about to go. Yeah, he's getting stun locked. Yeah, he's about to die. Yep, there he goes. Okay, but fortunately for me, he actually lost micro on them. He did not notice that they had been done fighting. So my Wards of Minas Ithil and my Veterans of Escalation are just going to be shooting them in the back to death, pretty much. You can see over here the fighting has continued. Yeah, the last stand of my three Gondorian swordsmen, winged swordsmen, who you can see are getting a couple kills before they die. But over here, unfortunately, my forces are actually going to be split in half by the incoming forces of the Southern Warband and pikemen. They will actually be split off pretty evenly, actually. The Fountain Guard. Oh yeah, I have some Fountain Guard up here. Uh, yeah, you can see we're just getting pushed apart pretty much, and so what that's going to lead to eventually is my expensive units like my Citadel Bodyguard and Sons of Argonath are going to be split, which means they're not going to be as strong. So they're going to die very much quicker than they would have normally. And you can see Long Barrel 76 notices this, and so he's going to push forward all the rest of his infantry up this one siege tower. However, he still does have 3 units of very healthy Herodom archers. You can see just the mass hordes of Muhad Beast Tamers, Pikemen, Southern Warband, and everything else that's in that area. Over here, though, you can see the. I believe there weren't very many of the trollmen left, but they have pretty much all been dealt with. Oh yes, and look at this. This is a terrible micro mistake by me. I did not notice that the catapult was firing, and so it will keep firing and will essentially take out this very healthy, well, not very healthy, but somewhat healthy, of lost or knocked nobles with ease, and it was a very severe loss for us. Over here, however, you can see that we have actually won the fight at the gate, believe it or not. There are no more orcs here fighting at the gate, which is a good thing too, because if you can, as you can see, uh, there are bad things going on right around here. The forces of evil are starting to push forward very hard right here. You can see halberds and archers and even a catapult being pushed in. Uh, the Citadel archers and the Sons of Argonath are still there, but they're about to be surrounded, so they will be cut down pretty easily. I did bring forward this unit of veterans of Osgiliath to fight melee against these halberds and everything else here. I also have these guards of Osgiliath setting up a defensive line. I also have some guards of Osgiliath here, as well as some Fountain Guard, who will be able to do very well against these Uruk halberds, who are already pretty depleted. So yes, and this was actually a very smart move by oh yes, you can see my Loshonok nobles are completely dead now. This is another very smart move by Long Barrel 76. He waited to use his Mumakil until pretty much the last second, which was very smart because a lot of players just pretty much throw them straight into the teeth of the defenses, which means that they'll either get javelined or axe thrown or just artillery to death pretty much right away. But that actually was not the case because he was very smart and waited for a very long time to use them. Perhaps a little too long. Maybe he should have put them at the gate because, as you can see, we do not have a whole lot left here at this gate. But yeah, you can see the lone survive. No, there's 4 of them. I don't know why he's in the wall then. Yep. Okay, so there goes another hole in the wall. You can see all the the dead lost or knocked nobles, which is a very terrible loss for us. Long Barrel has pulled off 1 unit of Southron Warband over here, brought him over to this tower because I assume he was going to try and surround even more so these troops over here. Because you can see I have put forward my wards to the White Tower because my Sins of Argonath are all the way down to 28, and a large portion of them are actually right here. You can actually even see my general, I believe, somewhere over here. I don't know quite where he is, but I know he is in this. Oh, there he is. He's right there. Right there. Yeah, so things are not looking too great for us on this wall at the moment. However, these are pretty low tier units, so hopefully we'll be able to hold them off long enough for some more reinforcements to come. And speaking of reinforcements, I think we'll slow it down just a bit. You can see some Mumakil marching into the city as a reinforcement for the evil forces. And you can see over here, all the forces over here are getting essentially butchered, including the Sons of Argonath, by the combined force of Shield Guard, Morgul Chosen, Uruks, and just pretty much everything else that the Hordes of Evil has brought to the table. Over here, though, things are looking pretty good for us. Like I said, my Fountain Guard have dealt pretty easily with these Uruk Halberds. But because of the presence of the Mumakil and because things on the wall are not looking too great for us. Yes, you can see reinforcements of Dark Elven King, his Losternock nobles, as well as his Guards of Osgiliath, his Pelargir Marines, his Citadel Bodyguard, and pretty much his Veterans of Osgiliath. Just pretty much everything he has is going to commit down here, which is not a bad idea because things are very close. Uh, you can see these Losternock nobles charging right into the back of these Mordor Mornon bows. But yeah, so that's a very good idea by him to bring down these reinforcements because if he hadn't, I don't believe the reinforcements would have been enough to win on their own, but since he is bringing them forward to help fight in the main area, I believe that did very much help us in the long run. You can see that is only one troll left out of all of them that were brought brought in the battle. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You can see over here, though, the Fountain Guard brought by Dark Elven King and my Veterans of his Gulth are doing very well against these Uruk Halberds. But over here, yes, the Mumakil are being brought in, and this unit of 57 Lashunok nobles and this very healthy unit of Guards of Osgiliath are going to get absolutely butchered by these Mumakil. It was a very significant loss to us. And you can see that because we weren't paying attention, the forces of Mordor are bringing in, it looks like 3 units of Mordor Mordor Halberds. So that was a very smart move by Samship 14 to bring them around this way, because he will be able to attack these guards of Osgiliath here, as well as all the units over here. Actually, we did manage to take down one of the Mumakil though, but at a very, very deadly cost. This unit was at like 50 something, now it's at 23, and this unit was at 60 something, and now it's at 6. So it was very, very costly for us. I'm trying to fire my fire arrows at them just so I can maybe make them like rampage around, but it just really ended up not working at all. Over here, though, you can see things are looking very grim for us. You can see my general right here. He's very bloodied up. Ooh, we got a kill. But even more reinforcements from Herat are coming down to the walls. So my Warden's White Tower beginning to be surrounded. Another kill by my general. So I'm going to bring forward my Guards of Osgiliath as well as my Pelargir Marines to go help in this fight right here. Oh, yet another kill by my general right there. I believe that was 3 in a row. Oh, 4. And there goes the enemy general. I believe that was the other Mordor general. How many Sons of Argonath are there left? There are 25. There are only 6 Citadel Bodyguard. But yeah, with the presence of this fresh unit of Guards of Osgiliath and Pelargir Marines, we should be able to hold for quite... Oh, yep, there goes my general. We should be able to hold that wall for quite some time if we don't rout, because the general has died, which means the morale of my troops will begin to go down. So I am also bringing forward this other unit of Veterans of Osgiliath, and my Wardens of Minas Ithil I'm leaving here because these 3 units of very healthy Haradim archers are being brought over here, because they will be able to shoot all of our forces in the back. You can see my Fountain Guard and Guards of Osgiliath have had no rest. There is no rest for the Gondorians in the Siege of Minas Tirith, not at all, because after beating off this attack of Uruk Halberds, they just turn around to find even more right behind them. So they're fighting another unit of Mordor Halberds. The other two, well, one it looks like he put over here against the Veterans of Osgiliath and Guards of Osgiliath and Fountain Guard, and I don't believe I know what happened to the other one. Maybe he brought him just over here. But you can see, oh, these Fountain Guard of Dark Elven King are getting flanked right behind by the Mumakil, who have been brought in from another flank. But you can see all the reinforcements that have been brought by Dark Elven King. Things are looking actually up for us for once in the battle. His javelins would be able to take out the Mumakil very easily. Oh, yeah, you can see the Mumakil just rampaging straight through these these units of Lost nobles. However, most of them are getting back up and will begin to continue to fight. Oh, but you can see right over here, since these troops are just so blobbed up, the Mumakil will do an awesome amount of damage to all of the troops here. This very fresh unit of Veterans of Osgiliath goes all the way down to like 15 or something crazy like that. Oh my goodness, just look at all those poor Gondorians getting stomped on by the Mumakil. So yeah, it's absolutely crazy. This has just been such an epic battle. It was super fun to play. And it's not even close. It's not even that close to being over. But I'm just saying it was a very fun one to play. You can see Dark Elven King's general being brought down, which is not a bad idea because even though there are lots of Gondorians here, I definitely think they need help because of the Mumakil just doing so much damage, just killing so many Gondorians. Oh, look at that! Just so many getting stepped on. Oh my goodness. Those are all entirely fresh units too. Oh, what? That entirely fresh unit of Guards of Osgiliath is all the way down to 40 now. But they did actually manage to kill the one Mumakil. There's still... Ooh, there's 39. There were 51 of them. Oh my goodness, that's a terrible loss. There were like 53 Gondorian Winged Swordsmen. There's only 22 now. Over here, though, you can see the units of Lost nobles are definitely doing work. They are killing so many troops right here. The Urk archers are going to stand no match against the Lost nobles in melee, so that is why he is going to charge. Dylan R97 is going to charge in his Mountain Dominor Shield Guard. However, if he does not pull them out quickly, they will be cut down very easily by the Loshonok nobles, who have a bonus against cavalry, I believe. Over here, though, the Fountain Guard, and I believe there's a couple guards of Osgiliath, and my veterans of Osgiliath are holding very well. Yes, there goes the last Mumakil. Last Mumakil is now dead. Uh, and I believe that was the last general of the attackers. But anyway, yeah, so the Mordor and Halberds are facing the wrong way, so they actually are getting cut down pretty easily and quickly by the Gondorians right there. You can see, though, the Mumakil have been taken out, but at a terrible cost. These veterans of Osgiliath were at 51, now they're all the way down to 26. The Warden's White Tower were at 60, now they're down to 44. The Gondorian Winged Swordsman is probably the worst, besides the Pelagrian Marines. They were at like 53 or something, and now they're only at what, 14? Ooh, that's terrible. The Pelagrian Marines are very, very depleted as well. However, things are, like I said, are actually looking up. The percentage is looking very good. First, 87% enemies to 74% allies. Uh, yeah, I think we'll go ahead and take a quick look at what is going on my side. You can see right here, uh, the Harada archers actually were caught in melee by my veterans of Osgiliath, but a unit of halberds from Samship 14 prevented me from chasing them any further. So he's going to recommit them around this way and bring them through the gate, which is not a bad idea. And he's going to just shoot probably at the Loshonok nobles and definitely at this huge blob of troops right here. However, the combined forces of my Wardens of Minas Ithil, who you can see are being brought down, and my very healthy veterans of Osgiliath should be able to deal with these halberds. They will take probably quite a number of casualties, but they will be able to deal with them. Over here, however, you can see that there is still a huge horde of Haradrim right here, but we actually have managed to slightly push them back. You can see a lot of bodies here. You can see the blue capes of the Wardens. There's still a number of pikes. There are 10 Sons of Argonath, and there are 8 Wardens of the White Tower. But they are still doing work there in the front lines, getting lots of kills because they have lots of attack values. You can see these Mordor halberds still fighting strong against the Varans of Osgiliath and Minas, Wardens of Minas Ithil. Over here, though, you can see. Okay, yeah, that was the Haradrim. No, no, it wasn't. That was Dylan R, I believe. Yeah, admitting defeat right there because he pretty much had nothing left, I believe, at this point. It is 90% to 75%. Over here, though, Samship 14 has brought his Nazgul down to fight the back of to smash right into the back of my guards of Osgiliath and Found Guard here. Who are already fighting against these Mordor halberds. So because of the presence of the halberds as well as the Nazgul, my Fountain Guard and pikemen will be taken care of very quickly. You can see the archers beginning to take a toll on all of the troops up here. Because you could, yeah, oh my goodness. Look at all the dead troops because of the Mumakil. That was just crazy. But Dark Elven King is now going to begin bringing down the rest of his reinforcements and commit them to the front line. Because pretty much the only area that the Mordor players have left, yeah, because my veterans of Osgiliath here are down to 17, but they are still alive. They're still going strong. Oh, that's where they're firing. They're firing right there. Okay, I was wondering where they're firing. Yeah, and then the Fountain Guard are here, of course. Yeah, the only area where they're actually looking good, and I hate to say it, is right here. They're not even really looking very good right here because they only have 41, and then of course the Nazgul. Yeah, this is definitely a very fun map to play. I don't play it very often, like I said before. Um, but yeah, I like it. It's a lot. It's a lot of fun. Okay, now I'm gonna pause it because there are gonna be a couple things happening at once, and I want to just take a survey of the carnage that has been wrought this day. So you can see my guards of Osgiliath and the what's left of my Wardens of the White Tower instance Rorgonath still fighting against this unit of Southern pikemen. Uh, And Longbarrel is doing another smart maneuver, bringing down this unit of Southern Warband, and is going to bring them back up to surround my Guards of Osgiliath, which is a very smart idea. But yeah, so we'll take a very quick survey of the damage. So you can see a just ton of bodies right here from the fighting on the wall. This is where my Gondor Winged Swordsmen made their last stand. You can see more siege towers. A lot of death right here where the Lost Nobles, Trollmen, Shield Fountain Guard, and just the Mordor Uruks were fighting. A little bit of fighting here. You can see my archers fighting against the halberds. A ton of dead orcs are right here. Holy cow, one dead Mumakil surrounded by a ton of dead pikemen and nobles. Uh, Pretty good pocket of fighting right here. Lot of pockets of fighting all around over here. Three big piles right by the siege towers, and a little bit of dead bodies, and a few dead bodies right here. And of course, you can't forget about the massive dead bodies that was right here. But yeah, so yeah, there's just so much carnage. There are so many dead bodies on the ground. So many orcs and men have fallen this day. However, you can see that long barrels archers are beginning to have to fight in melee, and as they are light archers and very cheap, they will not do well at all in melee. Over here, the last of the halberds are being cut down. There are only 7 left. But yeah, like I said, you can see his Southern Warband begin to come back up, and they will surround my guards of Esgiliath. But because I still have 61 of them, not to mention a few Sons of Argonath and Wardens of the White Tower still going strong, they probably would have been able to hold off long enough for my reinforcements to arrive, or well, for my like veterans of Osgiliath or Minas Ithil, Wardens of Minas Ithil to come. Or they probably could have just been able to actually punch through these Southern pikemen or break them because they are wavering.
Only half our force remains.
Yeah, so only a half of, I believe that's Dark Elven King's forces remain, because at this point I really had nothing left. Like, I had so little left. Pretty much the only things I had left was that one unit of Veterans of Osgiliath over here, my Veterans of Osgiliath here, my Wardens of Minas Ithil, and then my Guards of Osgiliath was pretty much the only thing I had left. So I was very, very depleted at this point in the battle. However, so are the enemies because it is 95% enemies killed to 75% allies killed. Yeah, so there goes the Herodrim player. He has admitted defeat. He has realized that it's pretty much pointless to go on now. So, yeah, that frees up my troops right here at the wall. So I will commit them over here to help fight against the Nazgul and Halberds, who are making their last stand. I'm sorry, I can't talk. Ooh, another nice kill by the Losternock Nobles. I really do enjoy bringing the Losternock Nobles because they are the only, pretty much one of the only, if not the only, effective against armor, like AP unit that Gondor has. But of course, since they are shock infantry, they are very susceptible to javelins and crossbows and arrows in general. So yeah, oh my goodness, just look at that absolute carnage. I really like Minas Tirith because it's so large that once they get past the main walls, it's kind of almost like you're fighting in like a settlement like Osgiliath or even Rivendell. Well, not really Rivendell because that's just one big long choke point. But then again, so is this if you get up here. Oh, you can see Warrenswood Tower. But yeah, I really like the settlement because then it's almost like you're fighting in like a Numinas or like just Osgiliath, just places like that. It's like almost like your city fighting pretty much once they get past the main wall. Oh my goodness, just look at the absolute carnage that's been wrought here. That's crazy. Ooh, man. I believe nothing is happening out here. Yeah, you can see my veterans of Osgiliath going to go help fight against the Halberds and
Battles rage in
Nazgul.
our favor. Victory will be ours.
I just left my guards of Osgiliath here, as well as my Sons of Argonath, who are down to 7. One Citadel Bodyguard, one Pelargir Marine. I don't think there's any Wardens of the White Tower left. Maybe, oh no, there's 4 Wardens of the White Tower left. However, my Wardens of Minas Ithil are definitely having their work cut out for them. You can see they're easily outpacing the Herodrim archers running wise. They are very, very fast. So I'm just trying to get a couple kills on the running units with these Wardens of the White Tower. Or Wardens of the White Tower. Wardens of Minas Ithil, I'm sorry. I've been talking for too long. Yep, okay, you can see here the last stand is coming to an end. There are still 5 Nazgul left, but there are only 4 Mordor halberds. And I think we'll go ahead and speed up this last stand. Yeah, I definitely think that we would have lost that one had it not been for the fact that Dark Elven King had so many units in reserve. I had put everything up in the front, which is probably why I took so many casualties, but it's also why I got quite a lot of kills.
Slain the enemy general.
Okay, no, there goes the last enemy journal. Okay, yeah, okay, that's how it went. So that
This very
so that
day,
means that both players
victory
must
will
have
be
had a
ours.
unit of Nazgul. I did not know that. I believe that is all that's happened. Oh, Dark Elven King has 1 Son of Argonath left. Yeah, we'll just take one last survey of the carnage, this time without any words. So just to round up the video, and then we'll go ahead and look at the stats and kills and everything. Oh wow. Yeah, this is just absolutely crazy. I really did enjoy playing this battle. It was very fun. I've actually, like I said before, this is the first time I've played on Minas Tirith. Well, I mean, I've played on it before, but the only times it was when we were doing like something crazy. It was like 7 man, like settings on huge. It was just like super laggy that we were like, okay, guys, you just want to quit, and we're like, yeah, okay, it's fine. It was just absolutely crazy. But yeah, this one was super fun to play. Oh, a lot of dead Olakai here too, actually. The most surprising thing to me was how quickly the Olakai died to the Fountain Guard on this wall. Like, it was just one unit of Fountain Guard. It just butchered, it looks like maybe 1 or 2 units of Olakai right here on the wall. You can see my, on the map here, you can see my Wardens of Minas Ithil still
Reserve most
pursuing
in
the
our
routing
favor.
enemies.
Victory will be ours.
Yep. Okay, no, there is still one Nazgul left. Oh my goodness. One last Nazgul. Oh, there he goes.
This is a glorious
Just falls dead. Okay, yeah. So it was a clear victory. I don't know. I do not know how I had 323. I seem to remember having like only like a maybe like 150, but okay. Yeah. So Dark Elven King, 1,200 men deployed, 1,800 kills, very impressive. I had 1,200 men deployed, 3,000 kills. Dilnar almost 300 kills. Sam Ship got 800, and Long Barrel 76 took the prize for most kills as the attackers with 908. So yeah, it was a very fun battle to play. If so, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm running out of things to say. So we will go ahead and look at the stats now. Shielded Fountain Guard did very well for Dark Elven King. His most kills was by the Shielded Fountain Guard with 284, closely followed by the normal unit of Fountain Guard who was 276, and they were not far behind. And not far behind was the Sons of Argonath with 260. How many units above 100 kills does he have? He has one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 7 units above over 100 kills, and some nearing 300. Now we'll now look at my kills. Oh my goodness, yeah. Sons of Argonath, 376 kills with 7 men remaining. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. My Gondorian Winged Swordsman had 276. Veterans of Osgiliath did well. Warden's White Tower did well. Losternock Nobles did very, very well. Same with the Fountain Guard. Um, let's see what else here. My Citadel Archers and Minas Ithil, Wardens of Minas Ithil didn't do the best, but they still did decent. My Guards of Osgiliath, one got 201, the other got 177, but those are the ones that I believe got completely destroyed. And yeah, wow, that's crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units over 100 kills, one of them getting close to 400. So yeah, that was absolutely crazy. It was a very fun battle to play. Big thank you to all the players involved. And again, thank you guys for getting us to over 100 subscribers. Anyway, so guys, thank you for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you did. If you did not, please comment and tell me what I did wrong. Constructive criticism is always useful. And farewell wherever you fare till your eyes receive you at your journey's end.